This year I got to spend a lot of time traveling, whether it's for assignments or for leisure, and we made it a goal to start going to national parks. And one of the national parks that I went to was the Rocky Mountain National Park around Denver, Colorado. On this trip, I brought a couple cameras with me, a Sigma FP. A lot of the footage you're going to watch in this video, if not all of it actually, is from the Sigma FP. I also took a Fujica 6, which is a foldable, 6x6 camera. Great lens. And the last camera that I took was a Leica M2 with a 50mm and a 28mm lens. And during this trip, that's actually when I figured out that Leica cameras were no longer for me. A little bit of a background on me. This is not my first Leica. This is not the only Leica I've had. I've owned a Leica M262 that I shot for about a year, a Leica M10R that I shot for over a year, Leica M6, M4P, M5, and this M2. And every single one of them I have loved. They're just a really great camera, small, great system. The lenses are amazing, especially when you're using Leica's glass or anything from the Zeiss brand of lenses for the system. It's a really nice, fun camera system, and the rangefinder experience is something that honestly I recommend everyone try at least once. Again, you're in Denver, Colorado, snow's hitting, and during our time there, once we got everything set up, we decided to walk around some bookshops and everything. Sells all these. We stopped to get some sweet donuts from this one donut place. I think it's like I got dusted or donutted, or I nutted in Denver. I'm gonna put up the name of that. I really do think I got nutted in Denver, something like that. I got baked in Denver is what it says. I don't know why I said nutted. I'm so sorry. Wake and bake Denver. That was my bad. And during that time, because of how cold it was, and of course, me wearing glasses, putting my eye up to the rangefinder, it brought up the first issue that I've had with rangefinders for the past few years, and I've kind of ignored it. Rangefinders and glasses don't really mix. First off, putting your glasses to the rangefinder, scratches galore. You can put like some silicone or something on the actual patch where you're looking into, but sometimes not that great. I also get this issue where sometimes I get like a little side glare in, and I can't see things that well. It's something that I've had workarounds for. Like a lot of times I'm shooting 28mm and can't get my eye all the way up into the rangefinder. I just kind of guesstimate what my field of view is going to be. Same thing with 35 on some cameras. That frustration was really at a boiling point as I'm picking up the camera, wiping off my glasses, wiping off the rangefinder, picking up my camera, hitting my glasses, worried that I'm going to scratch them, and it just became very frustrating. I ended up switching over to my Sigma FP to take quite a few photos just because I wanted something that was not going to be in my face. And again, being able to shoot from like a waist level type of view was actually pretty fun and good enough for me. The next day we woke up early in the morning to be able to attack the day, meaning we groggily made ourselves to Union Station. We got ourselves some bagels and stuff like that. I don't know if I have footage of the bagels and everything. Shout out Einstein Bros. First time an Einstein Bro bagel eater. Delicious.
Money. Seeing I would have selected you out of this world for you.
We jumped into a Sprinter van and made our way around some different things, from a nice older church in the mountains. From what I'm understanding, the church was burned down, rebuilt. It's maybe over 100 years old, and the people from the local area had helped rebuild it and all these things, and now it's just a nice place to stop by because of mountains in the background. I think it's Pikes Peak is in the background of it all, but very beautiful space to be. A lot of people really like the national parks for like the views, of course, and things you can take photos of whenever it comes to the photography side, but a lot of people don't talk enough about the fact that just outside is the ultimate reset. Like the whole touch grass meme is the most, that's the best advice you could actually give someone. Not even an insult. At least in my book, that's not an insult.
Lay people like me are allowed to drive a big vehicle.
Around this time was the second issue that was brought up, and that's the issue of frame lines. I told you that I brought a 50mm and a 28mm lens, but the M2 only has 3 frame lines. I think specifically it has 35, 50, and 90mm or 135mm frame lines, which is nice, but when you have a 28mm, because I prefer 28, it makes things difficult. Now, I was able to decipher that if I just use the full rangefinder box, I was able to kind of figure out what my framing should be. But the issue is then I have to stuff my face really tight in there or lift up my glasses to be able to see what I'm taking photos of. And yes, they have different Leicas with different magnifications, but that's the thing, is depending on what Leica you get, it kind of makes you suffer in some other way. If I get a Leica with 28mm frame lines and magnification, I think it's 0.72 or 0.68 for that specific type of shooting, the only issue is that my 50mm frame lines, those frame lines actually become smaller, and you kind of have a harder time focusing up for something a little bit further, specifically 50mm. And again, it's something that I knew and something that I was aware of, but going from the 2.62 and the M10R and then back to the M2, there was always something that I was missing. Either 50mm felt too far away, or 28mm felt too like I wasn't able to see everything, 35mm even at times. It created issues, and honestly, during this time, whenever I was shooting, I was getting frustrated. When we finally made it into Rocky Mountain National Park, we're able to see a lot of cool things, stop by the gigantic Rocky Mountain National Park sign and everything on our way back, stop by the ranger stations, but it was actually the mountains. It was beautiful. We got to go to a place where we could actually see, I believe, what's called Beaver's Meadow. Or Beaver Meadow or something, with Deer Peak or Deer Mountain and Pikes Peak, and I wish I knew these things more, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. We got to take a nice little walk and stroll. I got to take photos, work on some layering and everything. But honestly, national parks I would recommend that over a New York, a San Francisco, a Boston, this big city street photography scape thing. I would recommend going to a national park 10 times out of 10. But during this time in the national park, this is where I figured out my third issue, and around the time when we were actually taking photos in front of the national park sign, that's whenever I realized and thought to myself, this isn't really the camera for me anymore. And the big issue was this, is I realized I would much prefer a zoom lens. The necessity for a zoom lens, and more specifically to be able to see what my frame is while I'm zooming, is just the biggest thing whenever it comes to why I wanted to switch away from Leica cameras, because it's just so versatile, so beneficial. And again, being able to see what I'm framing up and being able to pull focus based on an actual full field of view is just something that I'm really valuing right now. My eyesight isn't the best because of glasses, but the glasses I have are really, really nice, and they're able to help me focus on things. And right now with a rangefinder patch, yes, it's accurate, yes, it's fast, but the further things are away and everything, just because of, again, frame lines, 50mm, it's kind of tough to be able to pull with the same accuracy that I want to. So yeah, we spent more time Rocky Mountain National Park, driving through things. I actually took a nap on the way back. It was beautiful. Being able to see all the nature, water, and things like that. On our way out, we stopped for like a little matcha, and just being able to sleep. I had to pee the whole time, which was really, really tough, and held it in for the longest time. It really sucked, actually, now I think about it. So with all that being said, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Hope you enjoy the footage, and I hope you enjoy some of the things that I showed you from my time in Denver, Colorado. Again, I encourage you, travel to national parks. If there's one near you, take the time to be able to get into a vehicle, or take the time to be able to buy a plane ticket and go there for a week. I think that more than anything, with traveling to big cities where you're just gonna buy more shit, or big cities where you're just gonna spend time shooting photos on the street that are gonna look like everyone's photos who shot on the street that day, national parks are great. Being able to showcase national parks and their beauty helps other people want to also show up to national parks and also want to take care of the land around them, as well as it kind of helps you reset, in my personal opinion, That's where we as humans are supposed to be. Whoever you believe your creator is created that for a specific purpose. And if you don't believe in a creator, well, then it is your job as the highest rank of order to take care of something so beautiful. It does so well for us, does well for so many animals, and honestly is the way that the world absolutely should be. All that being said, take it light, but take it and have a good one.